Welcome, Jessica from Jesica Lule Counselling. It's my pleasure to be here today with you having a conversation. We have met several years ago, probably five or six, and it's been an honor to be a witness of your journey. And I would love if you could introduce yourself and let the people who are listening today know who you are, what you do, and what motivates you to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sol. It's such a pleasure and privilege to be here. I admire all your journey and I love all the things that you are doing right now, winning a lot of awards. It's so exciting for me as well. Thank you for having me here. Well, my name is Jessica. I'm founder of Jesica Lule Counselling. My background is psychologist and I support the mental health of the migrant. Most of them, my clients are women. I support them with life challenges, life transitions, mental health circumstances over there. Yes, that's one of my main goals that I'm doing right now.
And when you first arrived as a migrant, did you envision yourself opening your practice?
That's such a good question because this is the second time that I immigrated in Australia. The first one was in 2012, and the first time it was a messy time. I didn't have an idea what to do in that time because I was a new mom. Then everything was collapsing, new place, family. It was very complicated times. But this second time that we immigrate, I envisioned it to have my private practice. And as you know, here in Australia, psychology and counseling is two different professions here. No, as our countries in Latin America, that psychology do everything. Here is separated. And when I found that what actually counseling do is when I was started to think that this is the thing that I want to do. This is my job. Talk with people. I'm working alone to get no diagnosis. Is that the part that I'm not something that I really enjoy doing? Most is to talk about that. And actually, I say one of my main goals was to have my private practice. But yes, it has been such a journey since the first time that I arrived here.
And what challenges did you find becoming an entrepreneur while being a mom? And how do you balance both roles?
I think that the main challenge for me was how to open a business here in Australia because it's everything new for us. We are not used to certain things because we are not from here. Then one of the challenges was like know the laws and the regulations and stick on that and doing everything by the book. And I hate to say this, but in Latin America, you can open your business freely, no, without any circumstances. No, it's not the correct way to do it, but you can do it. Here in Australia, you need to follow the rules. But I think along the way, actually, what I found that is very positive because everything is clear. When you go over that wall that is overwhelming, I don't know what to do, and suddenly you are the other way, in the other side, it's like, yes, it's great to have everything set it and you can find everything is by the rule that I like that. But how I balance that, I find in the beginning I found it very difficult, and that is why it took a long time to open my private practice because it was to try to balance everything. But I must tell you, I think one of the main things that I think prioritizing that time it was of course my family, but also be kind to myself. And I preach that with all my clients, no, because I wanted to do everything fast. Of course, we want everything right now, but it was impossible for me in that moment. Then it was like, be kind to yourself. You're doing your best. You're raising two human beings. Have you support your brother? Be kind to yourself. That was the challenge in that time.
And I agree, being kind to yourself, being compassionate, because we only can give one step at a time. So setting realistic expectations, but also daring to become that better version of ourselves. And I have witnessed you that you have been working lately in your communication skills, and I have been a great progress. I have seen a great progress since March when you joined our Speak Out Loud event until May where you joined our leadership skills for founders event. So I would like if you could please share the journey and how did you manage your nerves in the both events in both situations, and how did you feel you improved and what helped you improve?
Thank you for the feedback. So, because I feel that the last time, recently was 1 week ago, isn't it? Well, almost 1 week ago, that experience, the leadership skills, I felt so different. And now that you're telling me, making sense about my appreciation about myself. In the first experience that we have and I have with you with the group, oh my gosh, it was nerve wracking. Even though I like to talk in public, it's not like it's nothing new, but it's different, Joe, because it's about my journey, it's about myself, it's about my skills. And sometimes the imposter syndrome is there. And sometimes you think that because English is my second language, you won't have this ability to express yourself in the same way that you're doing in Spanish. In my case, pushing myself outside without my comfort zone in that first session, it was like, oh, maybe I can do that. And it's ironic because I'm teaching, Joe, in front of people. I constantly speaking in English and still the imposter syndrome can be there. No, it's absurd in certain ways. But again, as we say, so be kind to yourself. This is different, but you have the skills. I'm going through that. And that first attempt, after that, I feel so proud of myself. I learned a lot about all the skills, all your coaching. The feedback was amazing. And this second time, that was the last week for us. So, first of all, when we have the first catch up online with the other leaders, and everybody was reading, and I have to share this definitely though. And suddenly I started to hear the other speeches and say, "Oh, it's like mine," because everybody was using AI, and I realized that, no. And of course, you reflected on us. Yes, it's not bad to have support from these tools. No, it's supposed that AI is for that support, not for do all the job. No, but you reflected on us. And I think for all of us, it was the same. Suddenly it was like, maybe it's not my voice. That is something that you saw having promoting for all these years. So own your own voice. And I think that was the guidance that we needed. And I think all the leaders that we share our journey during that day, we did the same. And I think nobody read in that day. Oh, it was like very original. And that was my experience. So I have the paper in my hand and I didn't read it. So it was like, go for it. Own your voice. That is the slogan that you have in promoting. So now own your voice because it's, you need to honor your trip, your journey. That was the experience. It was very funny to see that all the speeches in the beginning was the same. And then they found a way. We found our way, no, with your guidance.
And it's really interesting what you're saying because it was pretty obvious where there was input from AI because it's the same structure, the same types of phrases. And as you said, your voice is what makes you unique. So if you're willing to share from a place of vulnerability and to share your story and what you learned along the way, this will bring more value to others than a super polished speech. So we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for connection. And I think not only in this opportunity during the event, you realized that connection was what would put yourself forward. Also, I know that you had a recent job interview where well, we worked together to show yourself truly and show your journey from a place of connection because in an interview people want to see you, they want to see the person behind the CV, they don't want you to go and just read the CV out loud. So how was your experience and what did you learn along the way?
Definitely one word that stuck with me when we have this conversation previously to my job interview was be authentic, be yourself. And it sounds like a cliche. That is something that everybody says, but when you own that, when you really believe that, it's like, yes. And I remember that specifically, I will use paraphrasing about the things that you share with me. No, like, you have experience, so you have the background, the necessary background to do this job. No, believe in that. So, and you are in the same level. You need to own that. So, paraphrasing, it was the message that you provided me in that time, and so then it makes sense. Hell, yeah, I have the experience. I have the background. I have this. No, I got this. And during the interview with the two persons, no, first of all, it was confronting because you don't want to be in the same room questioned by two, well, two strangers, but one of them is familiar with me. I know this person for a couple of years. And suddenly I remember everything, even the position, because I asked you specifically, I asked you, what I'm doing with my hands, no? In that moment, I remember everything. Like, tune. No, I am tuned in that. I believe that. Yes, I own that. And I got a job. And I really thank you so because you, even though they are things that maybe can be basic but you don't see them. I have the experience, but I couldn't see that. No, obviously, but it's not obviously. And you make me feel confident about what I bring to the room. That was the experience.
Congratulations on getting the job. And sometimes it takes someone else to see the value for us to be able to identify what is valuable, because we give it for granted many skills we have. And in terms of skills, I want to ask, because you're working professionally and also you have your own business, what skills did you learn as a leader that help you hold both at the same time? And what would you say to someone who is starting their own business, and which skills do you recommend for them to develop?
Yeah, I would like to share two skills, so if that makes sense. The first one, it will be constancy, congruence at the same time, be constant. Never stop in the best possible way. Because sometimes life say to us when you need to stop. But that doesn't mean that you are not working or that you are doing nothing. I remember in one workshop that one founder also, I forgot the name of this beautiful lady. It's Mexican. She has her own beauty line. Eve Perez, I think is her name, no? And I remember that she told us that even if you are doing one thing in your business today, is one less thing to do. Then constancy, I keep going, I think is crucial for both sides. Be professional as well because you want to be in certain professional role or field, you need to push yourself as well. But I would say more if it's your business because it's your baby. So it's something that is absolutely for you. With more reason, you need to continue, even if it's one thing that you're doing today for your business or for your professional career, it will be more than enough. And that will be, and I would like to attach the second skill that we say that is more like a soft skill. And again, be kind to yourself. Again, I would say every time that I can this, no? Maybe you are not doing all the things that you want to do today or this week or tomorrow or yesterday, but still you're doing one thing. Just be kind to yourself because you're doing a lot of things, not only putting your business. I'm sure you're doing other things, multiple things in your life. So life is tough. It can be difficult. Then please be kind to yourself, no? A little bit. Then putting these two skills together, constancy, keep going, and kindness, I think will be that the best skills that I can share with you today that everybody in their journey maybe want to consider.
I love that. And I can see how being consistent helps us moving forward, one step at a time, as we were saying before. And what do you think are the main barriers for migrants who are here and they want to be able to be kind to themselves, but they also have this pressure of making things work because they come here with a dream and they come here with expectations. So sometimes they push themselves too hard. What do you think the barrier is? Is it the mindset? Is it the culture background? What do you think they could do to address those barriers?
I think it's a mix of a lot of things, though. You are saying so, in my point of view, you're saying so correctly. No, it can be a cultural thing, mindset, though, and also if we're adding the pressure and the stress to be in another country, though, that we need to make it work no matter what. But also at the same time, we have the conquered mind, and it's the conquered country at the same time, the imposter syndrome could be another things like depression, migratory grief. It's like everything. But I would say to you, with my clients, one constant topic about in all of this, even though it can be a mix about everything, is the mindset. And with my clients, is not to be positive all the time. We got this, no, because that doesn't, it's not sustainable and that doesn't work, no. But change the mindset in terms that, as was with my case, so embrace your experience, embrace your authenticity, embrace your background at the end of the day, because we don't need that everybody can be the same. That is why migrant communities can be so powerful here in Australia because we bring a lot of things that they don't have here. And that's the one of the most beautiful things that Australia has, no? And we don't need everything the same, no? Your authenticity, your background, your personality, your skills, they are unique and they will find a fit here. Then mindset intends to own yourself, embrace yourself, honor yourself, believe that the things that you are. And when imposter syndrome is there, yes, I acknowledge because my culture, the mindset, I acknowledge, but still I will continue and every time I will embrace myself. And it's also one message that I say to my students because being a counselor, it doesn't have to be the same. Because one of the pillars that Carl Rogers given to us, no, like authenticity, no, the therapeutic field for everybody, counselors, therapists, psychologists, we need to be authentic. And it's the same with us here in Australia, the migrant communities. No, be authentic, own your journey, honor yourself, and the skills that you have because you have. I don't know, it makes sense when I'm saying.
Thank you very much. I believe this is really valuable for many people who might be listening. So I would encourage them to get in touch with Jessica. We're going to leave her contact details in the description of the podcast. And just before we say goodbye, is there a final message you would like to leave them? Any stories that would reflect how it's possible to reach your goals, to make your dreams come true as you did?
Yeah, and absolutely. And first of all, again, thank you so much, Sol, for opening this space for us, and give us a voice, literally and metaphorically, at the end of the day. One thing that I can tell you, I started to study my master journey when I was, what, 44, 43 years old? And I was like starting again. I'm not mentioning that I was in a new country, without support network, it was starting again and I was more than 40, then you don't have time to regret. I have this beautiful advice from one of my colleagues. So she was studying the master as well, and her age, I think, was 60 years old. And directly she told me, that if you are not starting right now, you will regret tomorrow. Said, yeah, maybe I'm more than 40, but tomorrow I will have 50 and I will regret to do that. So, and she enlightened me. Then I don't want to be an example, but let me tell you, if one of your concerns is the age, that you're in your 20s or 30s anymore, believe me, you can do it. So if I can do it and I have a lot of beautiful examples and my clients can do it, you can do it as well. Thank you, Sol.
Thank you very much. That was beautiful. Definitely, it's never too late to give the first step. And we are here as a community to support you along the way. So stay connected. And I look forward to seeing you again, Jessica, in our future events. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to us. And I'm very grateful that we got to share this opportunity to have a beautiful conversation because sometimes we get to see each other in different environments, but we never have the opportunity to stop and for me to hear your story. So it was really valuable for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sol, for this space. Thank you so much.